We get it.
Okay, so we are actually going to go into a meeting now. So Douglas Cable Guy, you can start recording. We have a quorum. Anyway, the first thing we were discussing is future meetings. If we have like a set night, like first Monday of every month or something, then that might be easier for help us schedule. So do you have a preferred night, John?
Yeah,
With the understanding that Tony and Mary can't do most Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Yeah.
Well, again, I can make work Tuesday or Thursday. Wednesday is just off the table. I have Boy Scout night that night, and I can't get out of that. But I can work around Tuesdays and Thursdays if it's like only once a month, which it is. If we do, if we make that a firm schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if Mondays could work.
That's what I said as well. I can make Mondays work for me.
Okay, so how about if can we do like the first Monday of the month? Does that sound like a plan?
Yep.
That's fine with me.
Okay, so we're gonna try for the first Monday of the month. Of course, that doesn't count September. September is every Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna try to book those ahead now so that we get that done. All right, the first order of business, you sent out minutes.
I did send out the minutes. I hope everyone got them.
Did anybody have a chance to read minutes?
I did.
Okay.
I wasn't in attendance at the last meeting though, so I can't really confirm accuracy.
Okay.
But they looked good to me.
Yep. John, minutes?
I did not get a chance to look at them.
Okay, so we're going to table that to next meeting, and then next meeting we'll review and approve 2 meetings worth.
Okay.
All right. Second order of business is scholarships. We got 2 applications for scholarships. I sent those to actually every member of the committee, secure email. Hopefully you got an opportunity to read them. I see just a couple of minutes ago, John had opened his up.
I'm pulling them up right now.
Okay.
Mine was like in the last hour, so I'm not too far ahead of you.
Now, it's curious to note that we had the ones that I sent you that's how many applications we got.
Total or complete?
Yeah.
Total.
Total. Now, they are complete, but but that's the total number of applications I got. What that tells me is that we don't advertise that enough.
Yep.
Okay, so we have to figure out how better to do that so that it gets more advertising so that we get more applicants.
Yeah, it should. The guidance department at the high school should have a list.
There's usually quite a few that come from the high school. I just think maybe the kids just weren't paying attention this year with everything that's been going on.
Maybe. We
There
usually
may have been less communication with their counselors.
Oh, true. They haven't.
I don't know that. I'm just wondering. But it would seem logical to me if they were, doing the remote thing and whatnot.
maybe what we might want to do for next year, okay, because we have like a Facebook page or something like that. We might want to put out a thing on Facebook or something that says, now we're taking scholarship applications. See your guidance counselor. We can actually refer them to the guidance counselor so that they start asking questions of the guidance department on how they can apply, so that might help. Because I was a little disappointed with the quantity of applicants we had.
I would say though that the quality I thought was fantastic. I thought they both seemed
Yes, I think
great.
quality was really good. They did a great job of applying even.
Yep.
And but it would have been better to have a bigger pool.
Of course.
Okay, so based on that, I put letters on them so
Yeah.
that we didn't have to specifically mention names and stuff on TV or cable or in person, so that we can refer them by name. So if you have a preference or a recommendation, we're willing to hear it.
My personal opinion is that I would actually, personally, I would support either one of them receiving the scholarship. However, I think A is just a little bit stronger and draws me in a little more community minded, I think, and service minded in terms of like future goals and thoughts. So A would kind of edge out a little bit for me based on that, but honestly, I couldn't fault awarding it to either one of them because I think they're both strong applicants.
Tony?
John?
Yeah, these are, for only getting two, these are the stronger letters that we've seen from kids
Hmm.
over the years. That's good. We tend to be sort of, I think we tend to sort of lean towards students who have shown community service and given back to the community.
Yep.
Is there one applicant over the other who has a stronger community service record?
I felt like they both did
They kind of both did the same thing.
very similar, yeah.
I do have a comment. Okay, yes, they both did. I think they both did community service. They both volunteer. They both do well with community service. But I do have a question on how you define community service, because
Well, that's always been an issue.
collecting, doing the collection plate at church is not community service. And some things similar to that. If you're doing things for an organization that benefits you in some way, then that's not community service. So, fundraising for, an organization that you work for is not community service. And so just to bear that in mind when we're reviewing, descriptions of community service stuff.
Mm-hmm.
With that in mind, is there one of these candidates who is a stronger community member?
I thought it was B myself, but again, it's subjective though. It's subjective. It depends on how you interpret what community service is and what they believe community service is.
Yeah.
So I think, again, like Melissa, I believe both of these candidates, I support either one of them for getting this scholarship, because they're both on an equal level pretty much in this application. So
A edges B out academically. So that's, I don't know if we want to consider that a factor or not. They're both like top of their class. I mean, like edging out. So, but I mean,
how about you?
can I specify some of the volunteerism?
You want to make sure that you don't say anything that personally identifies the person.
Right.
Okay.
But well, if they're watching it, then the activities would give them away.
Yeah.
Are we in executive session right now?
No.
Nope.
Should we be?
Well, then we have to do everything else before we go into executive session.
No, we can come out of executive session.
I mean, if it's a moot point, then it's fine. But
It's hard to discuss it though when we can't discuss it.
The cable guy, we're going to go into executive session for 10 minutes. Okay, so
Can we do that?
we want to discuss, some personal attributes about a scholarship application. So we can't really do that on
while being recorded.
recorded. Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording and then just tell me when you want to start again.
absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Craft some language around the community service
Yep.
expectations.
Mhm.
And if you want, you could bring them to the next meeting. We could toss them around and workshop them a little bit.
All right.
And I think we could test them too. We'll have a couple case studies, right? We'll say like, we've got a kid who did this, and this. Does it count or not count?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. And then we'll come up with a definition of that, and then we can kind of elaborate that more on our application for next year.
Right. And I think the other thing to bear in mind too, is part of a discussion when we're discussing applicants, is I don't think it's like it's an in or an out thing or black and white. I think it's, we can weigh the community service on weight. And I think everyone in this committee sort of tends to weigh students who've helped out in Octoberfest more than other things, because it's our own organization. And I think that's fine. And I think, we should also just be aware that we are applying our own sort of weight to the community service. So whether or not at the end of the day, if a kid is doing the collection, at his church, it might count, it might not. We're probably going to weigh it pretty low in terms of giving back to the community.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think we agreed. It's going to be candidate B. We've awarded the scholarship to.
Do we need a motion or anything, or are we?
Yep, we need a motion and a second and a vote.
So I move that we award the scholarship of how much money?
Is it 500?
All in favor?
Is it 500, Tony?
Yes, it's 500.
So I move that we award the scholarship of 500 to candidate B.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Done. Okay, next item, vendors.
Okay, at this moment, we already have 16 vendors, and all the forms have been emailed or mailed out, and some are contacting me back. I talked personally with the French fry people. They are coming back. And Tony is, was that a moan of?
That was a moan.
My children, my whole family, like it's our tradition. We share a dog bowl of French fries.
Well, they are coming, and
They're coming back.
Tony's going to work with them ahead of time and let them know what he requests of them, so that we don't have situations of old wiring, parking the trailer. He's going to work with them ahead of time, so it should be very good.
They have kind of an older trailer. Some of the electrical wiring in the trailer caused us some issues last year with popping, circuit breakers and that type of stuff. So we're going to try to see if we can work through those issues before Oktoberfest Day. So that, and then they're going to get their trailer in and put it in position the night before, while we're out there setting up the night before anyway, so that it will be less disruptive when they come in. So we're going to work on that.
Okay, I sent a form out to dog orphans, but Keith and John are the ones that usually work with Ron, who's super cool. So I put that in the note in the email saying that they will be in contact with him, because you guys do the wiener race thingy with him.
Yeah.
And I also sent a form to BBT and let them know that thank you for their entertainment, and I will be placed the 2 sites that they wished. I will place them in that site.
Did their form come back yet?
Oh, no, I just sent them out last week, and some people, I don't even know if they read them right away. Some people contacted me right away. A henna person wanted to make sure she'd be the only henna tattoo. I explained to her that we have a face painter, we have an airbrush tattoo, and that she would be the only henna tattoo, and I have not heard back from her. There you go. So I had to call the toy man. He does not have an email to let him know that we are doing this, and that, John, you were going to work with the grill on Main for me too, so he could, on the right-hand side, tucked back like he has the last couple of years. It works out very, very good for him to have that spot there.
This toy guy.
And then we will leave a couple vendor spaces open so people can easily walk in and out of their driveway.
Yeah, sounds good. I'd like to move that we waive the vendor fee for BVT Robotics for their 2 spots.
Second, all in favor?
Sorry, I was muted. I'll second it.
Okay. Yes, okay, so we will waive the V, all, after a vote, all in favor? Aye,
Aye.
okay.
Aye.
So, Valley Tex fees waived. They're on our entertainment list anyway, so, it's fitting.
Okay.
Anything else vendor-wise?
Usually Dog Orphans gets a free site as well for all the help he does with the wiener race and, working with the guys and all that. So do we need a motion for that as well?
Yep,
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
I don't think I have anything else at the moment, but I expect vendor forms to start coming in, and in the head letter that I put in email, it states that it's the town's 275th. It's going to be really big, yada, yada, yada.
Mhm.
And so expecting things to come in. I'm thinking, my thoughts, I would like other ones' opinions, but I think Tony said that the website already has the new vendor forms up. John, are the new ones up?
I haven't put them up yet. Sorry.
Okay,
I will get them up though.
okay, so that'll work out good. And then as of next week, we'll start promoting Facebook, because that goes out to everyone's home that reads Facebook, and that'll start pushing it. Right?
yeah, now's the time for us to start getting vendors to actively sign up. Because they pay more if they wait till after, what, July? What was the number, July something?
Or I thought it was August.
August, yes, it's August,
Well, it
August
could be
15th.
July, August, I can't remember.
If August 15th, the price per site goes up to $75 a site. So we want to really start pushing them now. Okay, I had a meeting with the Jenks store. I attended their last meeting, which was last week on Monday. The first part of the discussion was the use of the side lawn for the beer garden. That came up as a thing. And then I provided them the forms, copy of insurance and all of that stuff, so that, like we do every year. And I had left them to consider and vote on that. They don't make a decision right away. I've since heard from them, and that we are approved to have the beer garden back there this year. Okay. Also brought up a couple of other ideas for them. One of them was, they're going to do their soup kitchen, soup and sandwiches like they always do. We had floated the idea of putting more tables, family seating out there. We had discussed that before, so that the families don't have to go into the beer garden to, to sit down and eat food as a family. So the thought was that we would put some out front, or maybe even, out back on the right side, as opposed to the left where the beer garden is. I had discussed with them the soda idea, where we may be looking for a place to put soda. And also, we also kind of floated an idea to ask for them to ask, with our help, the Girl Scouts, to see if the Girl Scouts would want to wait tables for their cafe. So we may be working something there. That would help another organization and get them involved. They seem excited about that. They were also, they wanted to do a yard sale this year. that was in competition with our beer garden for some consideration. So I did come up with an idea of having them, gee, if they're gonna do a yard sale, why don't they do yard sale right inside the barn? Like, because they have this barn there that they can do a yard sale right inside if they clean it up and display things like it's a store. They were receptive to that idea, so they kind of liked that idea. So that, even for October, for other days other than Oktoberfest, they'd be actually open the doors and do a yard sale right out of their barn without having to move stuff around. So that was well received. So I'm going to be in communication with them, kind of firm up some of this other stuff that we talked about, but that was basically the gist of it. So we got kind of a partnership going with them on some of the stuff that we want to go do.
So did they okay or not okay the soda fountain out back yet?
Well, we haven't come up with any firm plans. I
Okay.
floated the idea. We don't know what we're doing with the soda fountain yet or how much room it's going to take. So we're going to have to firm that up and then, mention it back to them. There are other places we could put that. It doesn't have to be there, but that's a convenient spot. Also, it did get mentioned, they're not big fans about having the stage in front of the junk store. No, John and I, well, in times past, we had pushed the stage back further up Depot Street so that it was, not really in front of their store. It was a little bit further back. But in trying to figure out a place to put the trike race thing, we got some limited options there. So the only way we could put that there is to move the stage further up as opposed to further back. So we're still in the logistics of that. They're not fans of having the stage in front of their store, though, directly in front of their store. The only other place that we could possibly put the blow up racetrack for the trikes is in the extra parking lot. Okay. It measures out right for that. Yep.
But which side are you talking, Tony?
I'm talking about the left side underneath the Oktoberfest sign, all the way, all the way down. Right now, we put Harborough there,
Yeah.
with their cars. If we moved Harborough someplace else, then we could actually put the trike thing there if we get Extramont, the manager at Extramont to buy in.
I didn't think the road surface was good enough. There.
It probably isn't. It's probably, and there's portions of that would be dirt, right up against the thing, maybe. It's rough. The road surface is rough.
I thought we were talking about putting it at Webster first. Did I miss
We
No,
are.
change there?
Here's
sorry.
here's the thing about Webster first. Okay, the dimensions of the track of the blow up track. Okay, are 44 feet by 44 feet. So it's a 44-foot square footprint. Okay. In order for us to put it in Webster first lot, okay, it's gonna take up right from the edge of the lot and where all the parking spaces are, all the way up to the building. I mean, all the way up to the building. Okay. Now that's okay. It fits there. Okay. The handicap is it doesn't let them use the drive-through, right? The drive-through window, because they can't get the cars out if we
Well,
take the whole
Hold on a
space.
second. That's not totally accurate. It lets them use the drive-through, but not with the current configuration.
Yeah.
That has been in years past,
Yeah.
which allows the cars to just drive around the building and go out the back.
Yeah.
So what we were suggesting was, in order to make it work, we would use the exit from Webster First onto Main Street.
And have them take a
In order
right.
to do that, we'd have to push the stage up about 6 feet. And then have cars exit right out of the bank parking lot.
Right. So they would exit out right behind the stage.
I
But
didn't realize that cars were getting in there.
They can, the bank is open on Oktoberfest Day. It's open till
Okay.
noon. Okay, they open till noon. And what happened is that they have access from Depot Street. They can drive into Depot Street and come around into the back of the bank. That's what they would do for the drive-through anyway. Okay. But what happens is us using, because we closed Main Street, us using the front parking spaces of the building were not much of a problem because people didn't have access to the front that way anyway,
Mhm.
because we closed Main Street. But they did have access to the credit union from the back side. And that allowed them to have access to the drive-through as well.
Okay.
And
I didn't
then,
realize
but
that.
when we closed Main Street, we had the stage back, then they'd be able to come through the drive-through and then turn left and go around the building and go back out.
Yep.
Okay, but if we're gonna put this track all the way up to the building, they no longer can do that. So we'd have to make accommodation for the cars to exit out the normal exit and take a right.
So then if we're moving potentially, and I apologize for not being up to date on what you guys are talking about, but if they're potentially moving the stage, what'd you say, John, 6 feet up, is that going to rough? Is that going to be a positive or negative impact for the Jenks store, for the Historical Society, if they're already complaining about the location of the stage? How does that impact it?
Well, it would put the stage in a position where they would prefer it was not.
That's about the only impact.
That's the only impact. Yeah.
Now, with
Okay.
the track being that big, people can still walk up to the front and use the
Yeah.
ATM?
Yeah,
Okay.
because what happened is it only goes up to that, the front of the credit union has like the stairs on the side, and it's like platform that goes up
Yes,
inside.
yes.
The thing would go up to that platform, so you'd still be able to walk up the stairs
Okay,
on
okay.
each side.
All right.
Tony, with moving the stage forward about that 6 feet, will it limit access to the Jenks front door?
No,
Will it limit access to the tables and chairs we want to put on the lawn?
no.
All right, so let's say we're standing in front of main stage. And when you move it 6 feet, if you turn to your left, what part of the Jenks front is directly across from the main stage, so everyone can have it in their mind?
The stairs that go up to the second floor.
That's about right.
Yeah.
There's a electrical pole.
Yep, okay.
It's even with the electrical pole.
Oh, so that's further back than the front door.
Yes.
Oh, I don't see much of an issue.
That seems reasonable. And Webster First, they're okay with us using
they're-
the parking lot the way that
they-
we're talking about?
Well,
with
they've
the-
already approved us using the front lot. They have for the last 5 years, and they did it again this time.
Okay,
What I did not do, though, is I did not meet with the manager of that thing yet, though, and tell them the configuration may change for traffic flow. All in all, even if we do that, it won't change their operation really
Okay.
at all, okay? Because they'll still be able to use open and run till noon and all of that. It hasn't really changed anything. The only thing it's changed is when they use the drive-through, how cars exit.
Well, Melissa also needs to know that Tony and John had gone downtown and measured many places to
Yeah.
try to get this blow-up track to
To fit.
work. And to rent the blow-up track, it's only $100, but to get hay bales in order to do the track, it's about $400.
oh, that's ridiculous. Okay,
Yeah. Plus the labor to set it up and break it down and move the hay bales and.
we don't need to deal with
Yeah,
that.
Tony and I walked all of Main Street, all of downtown. trying to look for a spot with the tape measure. We measured road width, we measured parking lots. This is pretty much the only spot it'll fit.
Yeah, I think it doesn't sound like going to the extra parking lot is gonna work for because of the surfacing, right? Like.
Yeah.
Webster First is
They
really,
really do need is kind of like, they need hard pavement, but as smooth as possible.
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Um,
Even chip seal, even road with chip seal is like, it's, yeah,
Okay,
it's rough.
yep. Okay, so then that's the
So,
plan.
all right, so I get, the next step is that I'll just make arrangements to meet with the manager, the branch manager of that, so that we can confirm and we can show them what our plans are. So that, we can, everybody's on the same page.
Do we need power from them, Tony, to power that thing?
It runs, yeah, you do. It runs a blower. We do have power there, and there is also power, and that's a part of the other conversation that I'm gonna have with Webster First. They have a couple of outside plugs there. We may be able to use one of them. Okay. And it's just gotta run a blower to blow up. It's an inflatable. So they don't draw much power unless you put crock pots on the same circuit.
We don't have that issue anymore.
You want to talk about the 275 book?
Yes, we're gonna get to that next. Anybody have any other questions about rides or bouncies or I do have one other thing before we get to the book. And it is for the birthday party. We have booked a company to do the cake. Okay. They're gonna deliver the cake, set it up, and serve it. Okay. So it's a completely hands-off thing for us.
Awesome.
We're gonna advertise them up because that's part of what they do. So we're giving them some advertising and some visibility. And we're just gonna have to figure out, number one, where we're gonna present the cake, where we're gonna do it. I thought it would be somewhere in the vicinity of Main Stage or something, or, the intersection of Main and Depot. That tends to be the hub. So we'll do it there. So we're gonna have to figure it out because they're gonna need time to set it up. Okay. And then, serve it and give it out and all that stuff. So, and we're gonna have to give them vehicle access to that somehow. It would be good in that spot because again, if we, now that we're going to do it in the afternoon, it's going to be after 2 o'clock. We have access using Webster first driveway, right? The one that goes to, so that they can come down with materials and stuff right to that intersection because that's right there. And set up cake.
Did you look into the town and if they're going to pitch in to pay for this thing?
I haven't reached out to them yet. I was going to, that's on my list of things to do, but one of the things I didn't get a chance to do yet. I did put on our sponsor forms when I reached out to sponsors, I did list that as a sponsorable item. So chances are, because one of the things is that for all intents and purposes, this year it replaces the Larger Than Life Parade, right? Because we've taken that off the table for this time. So on my sponsor letters, that I sent out to all of my sponsors, I did list the 275th anniversary cake as a sponsorable item. So we probably might get somebody to step up and do that.
Good.
All right. Any more on the cake? I don't think.
My
so.
only thought about the cake is just potential weather related if we need to designate an easy up for that location.
Well, I did. That was another thing that I had with a conversation at the Jenks store. Okay. If we have, now here's the thing about cake. Even if we did an easy up, if it's raining and humid, it's bad for cake.
Of course.
Even if it's under a cover.
Yeah.
So we had discussed if the weather is going to be bad, then they're going to set up the cake in the big room at the Jenks store. Okay.
Okay,
And we'll advertise that it's in there. Okay. That people can go in and take a look. They can go in and, see it and all of that stuff. So, so we have it protected. If that's
Okay.
if the weather is going to be bad, then,
Okay.
then we can set the cake up in there.
the weather won't be bad though, because I'm still here.
No,
so.
no, that's what we have you for. Yeah.
That's your major
The
number one
only reason
problem.
I'm here.
If we have a bad weather day,
I'm out.
plan on having a lot of leftover cake. I'm
Yeah.
serious, because if it's not visible, people aren't
Yeah.
gonna
We're gonna have an issue.
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
aren't gonna see
But
it.
I'd rather do it that way, other than, get it rained on and lose it anyway.
Yeah. No, I disagree. I don't disagree.
So it's just a contingency plan if we have to use it.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we're ready to talk about the book.
The book.
Okay, do you have anything on the book?
That's you, John.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm trying to remember the last time we left off, I think we had a little bit of legwork to do, right? Tony, I think you were going to figure out how much it was going to cost to get this thing printed.
Yep.
And I was suggesting that we tap Justin Snook, is it Snook?
Mhm.
From the library to head up the last 25 years. And my proposal is, depending on the cost of the book and if it's reasonable, that Oktoberfest, the committee fronts the money for the printing, and we recoup our money, and then the library takes the rest, takes any profits.
Okay,
So that way it puts the library in a no loss position. They're not going to lose money on this. But they've got some skin in the game if Justin, and also Justin's skill set is probably better suited for this anyway.
I have not had the conversation with Justin yet. I did make some progress with this though. It was scanned in electronically. That was the first thing that we wanted to figure out, what was going to be the cost of that. We got that for free.
Nice.
They did scan the person who wrote this, Peterson is his last name, or he was on the committee that came up with this book 25 years ago. He submitted he gave a copy of the book to some publisher that did printing for him in the past. They scanned it in. They gave us a scanned electronic copy of it, and they also had given him a price of $8 per copy to print. Okay, so that's for the current existing book.
And what's the price break?
It's just $8 a copy. There is no price break.
It doesn't go down at
No.
1,000 copies.
No.
That seems is that high? That seems high to me.
It seems high. At
But
any
we're
rate,
also adding pages.
well, we're also going to add pages. So it's going to change. It's going to change it. But anyway, the way that I figured it would do is we'd figure out how many pages we have, and then we'll send it out for price. We'll send it out for quote. I believe that we can get it somewhere around $5 or $6 a copy.
Because what did you have in mind, Tony, for a price tag, like $10?
For sell, I would like to see them sell for 10. At the top end, 15, but you'll sell a lot less of them at 15. They should sell at $10.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Yep.
in order to sell at 10, we have to get it for $5 or less.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that said, okay, Suzanne at the town hall or selectmen had said that we probably want to allow them to quote the same source that does our annual reports. Okay. Because they get pretty good pricing on that, and they may be able to get us a low per copy price of printing this book. So there's that. When I came up with the idea, now I also mentioned this at my meeting at the Jenks store, okay? Because they have a lot of history. They contain a lot, a lot of materials and stuff. They have a lot of history of the town. So I had mentioned it to them that we were going to do, we were going to help stand behind this book as long as it was updated, okay? Because, if it's just going to be, we're selling a book that's 25 years old, then, it's doesn't really have any interest for me, but
Yeah, I agree.
as long as it was well done. I mean, I'm not saying it
It is
isn't,
well done.
but it's
No,
very
it's just
well done.
outdated now.
But it should have the last 25 years, even as an addendum in the back, if we did it that way. So, but anyway, the Jenks store was interested in being involved in the sales portion, where, and they probably should be. They should probably have some of these in there to sell.
So
So we do that instead of the library?
I would do it inclusive of the library. I think the library should do it too. I think that they should be available in both places. I don't think you're going to get Justin, to buy in as well unless they can have some involvement in it, right? You think?
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I just, you're talking about two locations directly across the street from each other. It seems it might be a hard sell. I don't know. I don't want to be negative Nelly here, but have we already approached the library about?
No,
Okay.
no.
So what?
I think we need to pick one.
I think the library would actually sell more of them, to be honest with you, than
I do too. I think it gets more traffic.
they get more traffic, they're open more hours,
They're also an organization that that has a greater impact on the community than the Historical Society. And to that point, they're an organization that's, I mean, I don't know, is it right? Is it even right to call them an organization? They're a town entity that gives back to the community, and they're in the process of fundraising in order to continue to give back to the community.
Mhm.
And we have an opportunity to support that effort.
Mhm.
And I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't know of any urgent fundraising need from the Historical Society. And of the two, I would rather see us support the library than the Historical Society.
well, I
through
don't,
this project.
I actually don't have a problem, or I don't think with having the Historical Society have some of these in there to sell. I mean, it's a historical thing. So I think that they should be made available to them to be able to sell in their store.
Then they can buy them at cost.
Okay.
I mean, what other than like us being kind and giving them, a number of editions, like what?
I think we're in kind of tricky territory here, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because both the library and the Historical Society kind of, not full-fledged partners, but they partner with us for Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
The Historical Society gets some gain from us because we pay them for the space for the beer garden and whatnot.
No, well, the right way to interpret that is that we're not really paying them for the beer garden space. We give them a donation because they allow us to use it. But yeah, it's an important distinction though, because we're not paying for space.
No,
Okay.
we make a donation every year.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand the idea that they're a historical organization,
Yep.
and this is a historical document, and there's that natural connection. I get that 100%. What I'm struggling to wrap my head around it here is what contribution are they making to this project? Because we're making the financial contribution
Mm.
and the support, the logistic support. we're hoping that the library will pick up sort of the content contribution and the editing.
I think, but I believe, okay, the Historical Society will probably be able to help with some of that content. Okay, because they possess it. They're actually the de facto historian of the town of Douglas.
So if that's the case, and you're probably right, but I want to make sure that they are contributing then
Yeah.
to it. And if Justin is going to sort of act as, head editor for the, if we can get him to take this on as sort of head editor for the addendum,
Mhm.
And maybe one of the understandings is that the Historical Society makes content contributions. At that point, I feel okay giving them a handful of copies.
Mhm.
Again, like, we're going to front the money. It's not a donate. We're not donating it to anyone. We're going to front the money to help support them, right? So if we front them 20 copies, then we'll get our cash back, and then they take the proceeds. Is that the understanding that everyone has?
Yeah, it works. It works.
It just doesn't make sense to me to have an organization freeload off of it just because there's a connection.
No, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. They had when I had mentioned the fact that we were doing this book, and I brought it up there because in the first rendition of this book, the first 250 years, the Jenks store played a content part. They did. There's a lot of content in there and pictures and all of that stuff. It did come from the Historical Society at the time.
Okay.
So the organization played a big role in providing a lot of the materials that were used in the book the first time.
Okay.
So based on that, that's why I brought it up, and because conceivably they could provide, they could do that again, and they could remain relevant to this book, even with the addition.
I would feel good about them, their continued relevancy in its publication, and supporting that with giving them some of the copies to sell.
Yeah. So, and when seeing as how we're fronting up the money for all of the copies to be produced, we have a booth that sells them that day at Octoberfest with an idea to get some of our investment back. And then we give it to these two organizations, some amount of copies, so that they can sell, so that we can get some of our money back. And after our money is back, then, they can sell these or whatever and, keep profits on them until they're gone.
So I would like to maybe consider one other stipulation too, and it's that after the day of the event, any extra copies go to the library.
How about, so you don't want the Historical Society selling them anymore?
When are they going to sell them?
They sell them when they're open. They're open. They open. They're a museum.
Do they have people coming in?
Yes.
Okay.
They're a museum. They do events. So that would actually be one of the things you'd want in there, I think, as a historical thing of the town, right? Why wouldn't you want to buy one there?
Well, I was under the impression that there wasn't a whole lot happening there anymore. In terms of people coming into the building, in terms of events. And so it would seem a shame to me that the library, which is a pretty, has quite a bit of traffic, I want to make sure they have enough to sort of continue to sell them there.
Even if it was a case where, I don't know, we gave 100 copies or something to the library or whatever that number was, okay, or to the Jenks store, and the library sold out and the Jenks store still had some, well, we can reallocate them so that they actually get sold, so that the money is realized on them, So.
Do you guys think that if we are asking Justin to take on a large chunk of responsibility for this, that we should ask him his opinion on the Jenks store being involved before we commit to anything? Because that could sway his involvement.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Sure.
I don't know.
I mean,
But
Tony,
he-
you know him, Tony, right? I don't.
Yeah, I know him enough to, have this conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you?
I feel like it's a courtesy. If you're gonna ask him, hey, can you do a boatload of work for us? And then we're gonna,
Well, it's not
split
for
it up
us.
between you and somebody else. Like, I just feel like it's a courtesy. And knowing him, he's
Yeah.
probably gonna be like, sure, no problem. But I feel
Well,
like it's something we should
We
consider.
can, okay. But right now, we're kind of developing a program here. Like, we've come up with this idea where we're gonna take this book and we're gonna throw some money at it. We're gonna have it reworked and all of that stuff. So we can ask, if this person wants to be involved or that person wants to be involved, but seeing as how we're in the driver's seat and we're paying the bill, we making the rules. Okay, so.
But if he says, you know what,
So-
I don't want to invest my time in this because we're
Because the
including
Jenks
another
store is gonna get them?
organization, we don't have the resources to take that over.
No.
Tony,
Yeah.
why don't you have a conversation with Justin and see where he's at?
Yeah, I don't want to be in a position, okay, where I have two organizations that I like. I like the Jenks store and I like the library. And I don't want to be in an organization where it looks like we're taking sides one over the other.
Agreed.
All right. So that's important to me. I don't want the Jenks store saying, well, we're a nonprofit too. Are you giving them this, but you're not giving me anything? And we help you just like they do. So I don't want to get in this kind of contest. We just want to create a book, and we want, some of the organizations in town to benefit. Really, we want to be able to produce the book with the last 275-year history that's available to our people in town.
Yeah.
Who sells the books, the logistic, and who makes the money on it is a point of contention to two organizations in town, not us, because we just want our money back. Okay. I don't really want to get in that conversation at the moment until we figure out if we're actually going to produce the book. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. We're also not talking about huge chunks of money here, and I think it's probably not worth the contention over a little bit of money.
Yeah.
It seems like the path right now, Tony, is to have a conversation with Justin and feel him out and see if he's willing to, this sounds like this is his skill set, and if it's something that he is willing to.
He may not be interested in doing it at all.
Right. Right. So then we're back to the drawing board. So yeah, why don't you feel him out and see what he's thinking.
All right.
Oh, did you tell them, or do they already know that other gentleman, Mr. Peterson, has already bought?
Yeah, that's an interesting part of this conversation.
Right.
Mr. Peterson, who was I don't know, I guess he was, I'm gonna look up his, Paul Peterson. Okay. He was instrumental in the first publication of this book 25 years ago. Okay. He's the one that had it scanned because he had a copy, and he's the one that got the $8 per price copy. He's already purchased 50 copies of the existing book. That he
Of the
wanted,
250 version?
Yeah.
of
old
the
one.
existing version. He wanted to sell it at Octoberfest. So he was asking for our support to do that.
Oh, he didn't buy 50 copies from us.
No.
He bought 50 copies from the copy made, the print.
Yeah.
And he wants to sell them at Oktoberfest.
Yeah. Now, what I had told him is that he was looking to see if we'd get behind it and help produce this on recommendation by the selectmen, because we were kind of doing the 275th thing. And I had told him that we were interested in it only if we could add to it. The book is nice. I like it, but I don't, it doesn't excite me unless it includes the last 25 years. I want to buy a 275-year book, not a 250 book that's 25 years old. So, and he's got pride of authorship, so that's why he was a key on the first part of the thing. So that's why he wanted to be involved.
So is there a question here about whether or not the Oktoberfest wants to grant him permission to sell these? Or is he applying to
Not
be?
at the moment, because I had told him there isn't, because he knows that our support on this project is contingent on the fact that we get to update it.
So he hasn't asked for a free vendor site to sell this?
He hasn't asked for one.
Okay.
He's asked, at the time when he first approached us with this book idea, that's what he was asking for, is he wanted us to, to help him sell these at Octoberfest. And so I said, well, let me see one. So then he gave me a book, and I looked at it, and it's great. And I passed it on to John, but it's 25 years ago. It ends 25 years ago. So
is this, there's no question or no judgment from from us, from the Octoberfest Committee, until he submits a vendor form and tries to.
For a free site, that's correct. But he was holding off before any of that, okay? Even, even purchasing a site. He was holding off on getting a site to sell these until he got a response from us on how we wanted to approach this book.
Right.
And the way that I was clear on that, the way that we would support this book at all, okay, would be as if it was, if we could get it updated with an addendum or something, or a continuation of the last 25 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the next step is still reach out to Justin, see if Justin would be involved or wanted to be involved in helping us update this book with the last 25 years. Right.
All right. What's next? And the next?
That's it.
I'm losing steam.
Entertainment.
I got a band for the beer garden.
You do?
Yeah. The Brian James Quartet, the guys that played there last couple years.
Yep.
They love it. They're really excited to play. People like them a lot, so they're a great fit for the beer garden. The woman who is a living statue, she's out this year, but she sent me a contact to reach out to another living statue. And she looks good, so I'll reach out to her and try to book her.
Okay. And you had mentioned something about like roving street entertainment.
Yeah, she didn't send me a contact, but I'll reach out again, see if she's got something.
Okay. The plan is still to put second stage at Mumford Lodge, on the corner.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that stage as kind of like that, more locally, younger musicians, local musicians, give people an opportunity to play music and play a show where they might not normally get that type of opportunity. Like the kind of people that we've put up there before, student bands, things like that. So there'll be music on that stage all day. I've tentatively got a guy to work sound. Matt, who I teach with, he did sound 2 years ago. There, he's tentatively agreed to do it again. That's the only way we can make it work up there, was to have someone, paying someone to work sound all day.
The only thing that's different up there is that I don't have the same electrical up there that I had, access to electrical up there that I had when it was down on Depot, down in front of the goodness store.
Yeah, right. Because, when that stage before, when it was in the street, we were running an electrical cord from the Olive Branch Lodge.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to be able to do that because it's going all the way across the street now.
Yeah, and I have the train drive over it every 10 minutes.
Right.
Actually, I have 2 trains drive over it every 10 minutes.
So we might want to, do we want to look at, a generator, power that stage with a generator?
We either power the stage with a generator. There's a few places where we could hide the generator around there so that you don't hear it so much. but yeah, they're gonna have to either power or with a generator, or we could. I would rather try this out first before we think about adding a power panel there. Because I could conceivably put a power panel there.
Mhm.
But putting a panel there would require it, there's no public building there. So it's not like I can put a power panel like I did on the side of the town, the post office, because that's a town building. And I put a power panel on the side of the library because that's a town building. I can't put a power panel on the church, so it would require, like I did on the lawn, where we drop a pole and have a power panel put there to run the stage. If
The
we,
the other issue, I don't know if there are issues with a generator and dirty power powering electronics.
no, you can do filters. I can add filters for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So they make filters
I mean-
specifically for that.
I like the idea of putting the stage where we've been talking about it. I'm also not like so married to the idea. So if we're finding that like there's too many hurdles to jump through, I'm fine leaving it in the street where it's been. So whatever you want to do, Tony. It's not going to change what I put on the stage in terms of act. So
Okay. I want to try it out. I do.
Okay.
Because that allows us to put vendors all the way up Depot Street. I want to be able to do that if I can. Okay. But, and then if we put the stage there, that seems to work with that.
Okay.
But power problems might be a problem there, because I got to figure out how to get power there without making wires go across the road. So we'll either do a generator, and then we'll try a generator this year. I think we'll figure out how to make a generator work there on the stage. And then if it works for us, then we would consider doing something permanent there.
I have a dumb question. When you run a generator off of propane, is it as loud as when you run it off of gas?
No,
So I've got a pretty big generator that we could hook up to propane. I don't have a propane tank, so if someone else had one.
you don't have a propane tank? You don't have one on a barbecue grill?
I don't have a gas grill, I have charcoal.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I have a Boy Scout troop. We have access to propane tanks.
Okay.
So we have
So if
like
someone,
millions.
Then
of
you don't
propane
need to offer mine.
if you want to throw my generator in the back of your truck, we're happy to, I'm happy to lend it for the day.
All right, okay, we'll put it right aside of the barrel train. So, yeah,
So
Cool.
if the Olive Branch is going to have the second stage, what's going to be at the Goodness Store?
the third stage.
So you're switching things around.
We're switching the second stage and the third stage.
Yeah, we're just putting the smaller stage over there because we're not doing like the traditional music bands stuff there. So we don't need the big space. Yeah, we're doing smaller things like the magic show, the dancers, we announced the dog racing down there. So we've got stuff going on. We just don't need the big stage. So it's better suited up there.
Just so you know, I personally think there's going to be complaints.
There's always complaints.
Yeah, I know, just so you're prepared.
I'm ready.
All right.
We did have, I did talk to Heath Quinto. I happened to run across him in Harry's. I had told him that we were doing Oktoberfest. He was excited about that. He said that we could use all 6 of the parking, the tarred parking spaces that are at the Goodness Store for handicap parking.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that was awesome.
What else did I had something else to say. Now I lost it. What were we talking about? Performance sound. I don't know. I can't remember. I had something, it's gone.
Now, I have not made up the forms yet for the barbecue, the ribs.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Okay, go.
We need to, the Olive Branch Lodge was less than thrilled that we had all of those people plugging in. All of the contestants for the barbecue plugging into their outlets.
Yep.
I don't know what the solution is, if we just need to get an okay from them, or I think we nixed the idea of a generators, right? Like, we're not gonna have people bring generators to
No,
run their building.
I can't have all those generators there.
So I guess this is Keith's baby, that we can put it onto him to get clearance from the Olive Branch to power all those grills.
Well, I'm again, I'm gonna say that, you know, we created the event, we can make the rules, okay? And we can say that there are no, that you wanted all charcoal grills or all, no?
That's not gonna work if most of them were electric.
If you want to do a barbecue, you know, barbecue ribs, not everybody barbecues ribs with, you know, an electric, you know, having to plug it in. I mean, a lot of people.
I don't know enough about this to.
Well, but I've made ribs, and I've made, you know, I've made good ribs, and you know, I've used a smoker that did not run, you know, that ran on wood and,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I know. So yeah, so have I. I think we should table this conversation until Keith is here to contribute, since he's kind of running this
yeah.
part of it.
Okay, well, all right. I'm just saying that, you know, you can make, you know, whatever, you can make the contest whatever you want it to be, you know.
Yeah, they can only burn pine. How about that? They have to smoke ribs only using pine.
Yeah, or, you know.
Well, I'm just stating the fact that I have not sent out any of the rib vendor
Yeah,
applications.
we don't know. Yeah, we got to figure out if they're okay with it. We got to figure out how to power it. I can't put 25 generators over there, you know, or
How many contestants did we get last year?
8.
8.
8.
And if all 8 had to plug in and it caused a power over there, okay, then that's a problem. Okay. You know, if we get more than 8, it would be a severe problem.
I think 7 out of 8 had electric grills. Yeah, or yeah, why don't we wait for Keith to contribute to this conversation?
Okay, we have to figure, and we'll have to figure out if we're gonna do it, we have to, if they're gonna be, we're gonna allow power, then we have to figure out how to do that. Because we can't get it from the Mumford Lodge. They don't have it to produce. That's an old building. It doesn't have that kind of circuitry.
Yeah, so what I was going to propose is there another place to do it, like the library or the post office?
Can't do it in the library, because if you do, you won't run the stage. We use most of the power at the library. Okay.
And what about the post office?
Huh?
What about the post office?
Well, there ain't enough power down there to run, you know, it's enough to run the stage. When I put that in there, I put 2 20-amp circuits. That's enough to run the stage B. Okay. When we did on the side of the library, when I put the power there to run the main stage, okay, I have 4 20-amp circuits. Okay. That's why when the crock pots went in, they were blowing circuits all over the library, and you know, so the library isn't really wired for that either.
Yeah.
They have enough power in there for them to run the library and our needs that day. Anything more than that is
Justin had told me that they had put in another panel to be used outside, but that doesn't increase the inside use of the whole building.
yeah. And if you and you can't plug in all those grills,
Right.
because you'll be blowing circuits in the library, which is the same crock pot problem they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's Keith's baby. Let's let him find a solution to it.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Can I go to bed now?
Okay, so from now on, our meetings are going to be the first Monday of the month. I'm gonna schedule that up. It'll be at 7:30 PM. Okay,
Tony, you'll confirm that with us once it's booked?
yep, I will confirm that.
Okay.
Eventually, hopefully, how do you guys feel about doing in-person meetings?
Yeah, I was just going to propose it. I think I'm assuming that I know the vaccination status of everyone on the committee, and I think we would all be in the clear to meet in person.
Yeah. When I did reach out for this meeting, the town hall had said that if we wanted to, they could make it so that we could meet in person there, and they would set the doors so that they would open up in time for us. That really doesn't have to happen because I have a key fob for the door anyway. So we don't really need them to unlock it for us. But if everybody's okay with meeting in person,
Melissa?
how about if we do one more meeting, next meeting, we'll do one more meeting by Zoom,
And
And
then
then-
we'll discuss
and then
it.
we'll discuss it at that next meeting. All
Okay,
right,
thank you.
I agree with that.
okay?
That
Now,
works.
I have to say that one more thing, that we have already had someone offer prizes for the cash cube, and Melissa's been wonderful and she knows these people. So I am able to give her phone number for this particular person, but they're gonna be making gift baskets. So we've already got a head start on some of the prizes. So thank you for taking them already, Melissa.
Oh, no problem. I haven't done anything yet, so.
Okay, anybody have anything else?
No.
All right, we will see you